Becky's on her way as well. How is everyone doing?
Morning. I am here.
How are you doing?
Good, thank you. I am fully Selling Savvy branded now.
I know.
Not literally. It's not. You've not put it on my skin just yet. But
Just
I've got the cup and I've got the poster. So
cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everybody. Happy Friday. There isn't any tea in it. No gin yet.
Oh, I know, but it might be a glass of wine with work this afternoon, sort of afternoon.
Yes, I think
it's getting colder as well, isn't it?
It's Friday.
More
well, it's always a bit colder up north anyway, Kate. So
you're always cold.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quite used to it. How's everyone doing this morning?
If you're here, shout to say hi.
Have you seen Edwin's comment?
No.
Nice to see you, Edwin. Extra. He's talking about our mugs.
Of course, Edwin, always extra. I'm just sorry about that. I just had my Facebook group live on as well then at the same time. Apologies about that. Oh, Edwin, I know it's supposed to be a bad thing, but for some reason I quite like being extra.
I love it. I think it's great. Maybe we'll have to get you, Edwin, one. Edwin was our photographer at the weekend, and I cracked out these mugs with our names on it, and he was like, oh, God, they're awful.
So extra. That's so extra. Yeah. What was the other word he used?
Bougie.
Bougie.
That was Ryan from Park Regis Birmingham said about bougie.
It's me trying to be down with the kids now, but I'm just so not. Yeah.
Hi, Lynette and Lou. Morning, happy ladies. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Morning, girls.
I think it's because it's really stupid, but I got up early and washed my hair. I'm really on it today. I've done so much already.
It's amazing how good you feel when you wash your hair.
Yeah, it does make a difference.
There you go. Top tip of the day. Wash your hair when you get up early. Yeah.
Can I go home? Can I go now?
Yeah.
Hey, Amy. What a small world. Edwin and I know Naomi. Oh, that's funny. God, that is funny because Edwin's all the way up in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Kathy, can see you. How nice to see everybody. And Rachel,
it's
hi.
Lovely.
Let us know how you're getting on. How did you get on this week with the huge announcement that we've had?
Yeah, we'd love to hear we were just talking, weren't we, about positive stories about a client of yours that was doing really well. So we'd love to hear those, if you've had some really good wins this week, because obviously it was a bit down when we heard about that in the week from Bojo, wasn't it? So we want some positive stuff.
Yeah, please do send them through, because we were trying to pull together some statistics of business at the moment, and we were like, oh, this is so some of it is very miserable. So
yeah, we want to be positive.
Send us some positive vibes. Also, what was I just going to say? It's completely gone out of my head. Oh yeah, I've seen this morning that the rules have been confirmed that we are allowed to have indoor meetings. Oh, Becky, you sent it through.
Yeah.
I'm you. Telling everyone else. So yeah, that's really good news, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I thought it was actually on the government section, and it does state from the 14th of September now as well. So I'm hoping that is going to stand. Yeah,
so up to 30 still indoor meetings and conferences with social distancing. So I feel like that's a huge relief for the industry.
Yeah, definitely.
Lynette, I had a great week booking in my face-to-face appointment, and to me that's a win. Totally, Lynette.
Oh, Lynette, it's just amazing, isn't it, to just see actual real life people in real life. Yeah. I'm so with you. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Excellent. So I guess we better get to the topic at hand.
What then, shall we?
Then we could just chit chat forever. Yeah.
So today we're talking about LinkedIn, one of my fave subjects, but more specifically today about personal brand on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Which is a really juicy subject and something that I've kind of learnt over the last couple of years on how to do it, how to kind of showcase your personal brand professionally and also in a more kind of fun way.
Yeah. You're so good at it. You're always on my LinkedIn when I go on there. It's like, oh, this case.
So annoyed, aren't I?
Always pops up everywhere.
Popping up, like I don't do anything else. So I'm going to share my screen and just show you a few stats. These aren't depressing stats, don't worry, these are good ones. However, I should probably say that they're pre-lockdown stats, which I think probably would make a difference. Do you think, Becky? Because everybody's virtual, and LinkedIn just went, off the hook. Can I say that? Is that really old school?
Yeah, it just kind of went crazy, didn't it? I suppose everybody found they got themselves a little bit more time and started connecting a lot more than they were and putting out a lot more content. And I think as well, Kate, I don't know if you agree with this, it got a lot more informal than it used to be, a lot more personal, which I think is a really good thing. Yeah.
Which I think has actually built really strong relationships between people who haven't met. I mean, we're the prime example, Becky.
Exactly.
Working together for like 6 months, and we only met at the weekend. And Lynette, I'm using you as an example as well. I just feel like we got on really well, and we never actually really spoke, but we had the same like ethos. You could just tell from the post that we believed in the same moral selling, and we kind of had the same ideas and things like that and beliefs. And then when we finally did have a call a couple of weeks ago, we were like, oh, this is great. So that kind of personal branding, if you do it right, can build really meaningful business relationships.
Well, absolutely. And I'm going to have to get it in people by people, Kate, as you know, is one of my business names.
And
it's so true. Yeah,
it is true. So I called this an untapped sales tool, and although lots of people use LinkedIn, I know, and people are tapping into it more and more, there are also some cool stuff that you can do that kind of just leverage you that little bit more. And so here's a few statistics. These will have gone up now, I imagine. 92% of B2B marketers, so businesses that sell to businesses, include LinkedIn in their digital marketing platform. So when they're working out what their strategy is, their digital marketing strategy, 92% of them include LinkedIn in that strategy, which is a huge number, and it just shows how it works, really.
Definitely.
2.74% of visitor to lead conversion rates generated by LinkedIn, as opposed to 0.77% from Facebook. So that means that people who are looking at you, 2.74% of them convert into actual business, whereas on Facebook, 0.77% do.
Yeah, it's a different animal, isn't it? I have definitely got business on a few occasions, actually, including a national hotel chain via LinkedIn. And I haven't really done any selling. It was literally, like you said, they thought, oh, she's got the experience, she's got the same ethos as us, I'm going to get in touch. So, yeah,
I love it. And I mean, I've said this before, it's a bit of an odd thing, but although I'm a sales trainer, I actually don't like selling. I don't really believe in selling, because those relationships, like you say, they just build longevity, and that's what businesses need.
Definitely.
And I feel like the last 6 months we've realised how fragile business can be. And if you've already got those strong relationships, that will kind of tide you over. So that's an interesting one. I can see in the chat, Femin.
I know. I don't know what's going on.
Salad.
I think that maybe they are on the gym already.
Just leaving you guys to it. 50% of all social lead traffic to B2B websites and blogs come from LinkedIn. Now, again, this is a huge stat. So all people who are looking at blog posts and websites, everybody who looks at blog posts and websites, 50% of them have come through LinkedIn.
It's a huge stat, isn't it? Yeah.
Isn't it high? So half of the people. And again, it just highlights the importance of funneling people through that sales journey. And LinkedIn is a huge part of that. So these are B2B statistics. And next I've got B2C. Business to business is kind of presumed about that's what LinkedIn is.
Yeah.
And most people use it from that. Through that, but actually there's some really interesting B2C stats as well. So this is people who sell to customers, to clients directly. So leisure business is one, or weddings. 51% of companies acquired a B2C customer through LinkedIn. So just over half of business to customer, business to consumer businesses have got people through LinkedIn. So, and I think it's really interesting, like, I feel like a lot of even wedding clients, they're I was if I was going to get remarried, don't tell my husband.
Something you need to tell us, Kate.
I would, and maybe this is just because I'm a LinkedIn loser, but I would I would look at if I was inquiring at venues, I'd definitely look the person up on LinkedIn. Yeah, and have a look at what
definitely
they are.
Yeah, I'm always looking people up on LinkedIn for various reasons. That sounds a bit dodgy. Maybe I should change that, but yeah. But you're so right, and also I think it was Amy I was saying to you the other day as well. All of your all of the B2C customers, they're all in a business which might then have corporate business for you, and that works the other way around. If you are in a corporate business, you're also a consumer that consumes things yourself. So there's always like that crossover of potential customers, definitely.
Yeah, totally agree. And lastly, our last statistic, 50% of LinkedIn members say they're more likely to buy from a customer that they engage with, or buy from a company that they engage with on LinkedIn. So even companies that you're not doing, that you haven't got business relationships with, you'd probably more likely go there. And it's the same with, it's obviously the same with hotels. You know, I'm obviously linked to lots of salespeople in hotels. And when I see them, I'm always like, oh, I'd like to go stay there with my family. Or, oh, it'd be nice to like have a weekend break there. That's exactly the same thing.
I know,
would
absolutely.
And
I know that like Lynette and Fem and other people have been doing like site visits, which I've been really jealous about, and then putting the pictures on. And like you say, it's just been like, oh God, I want to go there. That looks amazing.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Whereas if they were like promotional shots, not just people going and visiting, if you know what I mean, then I'd be thinking, oh, that's a nice picture. Like, well done, photographer.
Well, you trust it more, don't you, if somebody else is telling you to go, if it's more honest.
Yeah, totally. Oh, Edwin, interesting. I don't trust people or find anyone credible if they aren't on LinkedIn. Yeah,
I'm kind of with you there, Edwin.
Yeah, I think subconsciously it's really unusual if somebody in business isn't on LinkedIn.
It is very unusual, and that's what I meant when I say I usually look people up. Exactly what Edwin's saying, really, I suppose. Subconsciously, that's what I'm thinking.
To check that they're a normal person.
Yeah.
It's the same with Facebook and Instagram and stuff, isn't it, really? Although my husband doesn't have Facebook, so I can't really say that. He's very weird though. Right, so personal brand we're going to talk about. Now, let us know in the chat, in the comments and stuff, what you think of personal brand, what your kind of initial thoughts are when you think of what it means. I put a post up this morning about, it was literally just a picture of me having a cup of tea, but the reason I did it was because I was like, personal brand is all about being yourself completely, but it's kind of another level of it because you've got to showcase it a bit more. Diana said my first port of call is always LinkedIn. Oh, we're all LinkedIn losers here then.
Yeah, we are. You're not on your own, Kate. You're all right.
Yeah. And Amanda, what are your thoughts about recommendations on LinkedIn? Do you think they're credible? I mean, maybe I might be being naive here, but yeah, I totally think they're credible.
I do.
Because
I think they are.
Says to you, like, where did you meet them? Where did you work with them? Were they a client? Were you a client? They really like analyze it before.
I'm not sure. I agree with that. I'm not sure about the endorsements. I think lots of people just randomly click endorsements, and sometimes I think they do it because they want to just kind of get the attention maybe of the other person. They don't really know them, but recommendations, definitely.
Yeah, I would trust recommendations. I agree, not endorsements. I have had a message, only one in however many years, saying if I give you a recommendation, will you give one back to me? And I've never even known him. He just connected with me and then straight away sent me that. And it was so weird.
Strange.
I it and scrubbed out his name and put it on my LinkedIn. I was like, do people actually do this?
Yeah, that is strange. I know during lockdown, I decided to pinpoint various other freelancers and gave them a recommendation each week and then shared it just to try and kind of like help people.
Nice. But if you know them, it's different.
Oh yeah,
that's great.
People I've worked with that I definitely recommend, you know, honestly. And I think that's really nice, you know, if you have worked with other people, sometimes we forget to kind of like give those recommendations. And I think that's a really nice thing to do if you've got the time once a week to give a nice recommendation on LinkedIn, because it will do them so much good. Yeah,
I agree. I think I need to start doing that. Good idea. Right, so personal brand. Personal brand is an ongoing process of developing and maintaining a reputation and impression of an individual, group, or organization. And that's something that I think is, I think there's a few kind of key points on here, I guess. Firstly, it's an ongoing process. It's not something that you can just do and put a few posts out and then you're like, right, people know what I'm about now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's a bit of a nightmare if you're really going to commit to it, because it has to be regular, and it has to be consistent but not necessarily regular. Don't feel like you have to be starting to post every single day, because if you're not going to be able to do that in 3-4 weeks, then it's pointless to start it. Just
it's got to be achievable to begin with.
Decide what you feel like you can do, and make a promise to yourself to do it. So it's an ongoing process of developing and maintaining a reputation. So it's kind of the reputation that you want people to say about you, or you want people to see, and impression of an individual, group, or organization. And that's why I said on LinkedIn this morning that this doesn't have to be, I have always thought personal brand was for, one-man bands or the self-employed people, whereas actually now I've kind of done some research on it and done it a bit more myself, or tried to tap into it a bit more myself. I've realized that it can be so useful for just salespeople or just people within organizations to promote themselves for their kind of future career and for the business.
Definitely. I think in this day and age, there's so much competition out there, and often the biggest USP is you or your team, your personal brand. That's what makes you stand out, rather than, if it's a venue, the meeting rooms and the restaurant and this, that and the other. It's often the people.
Yeah, so true. And other people having that sort of impression of them. And again, I mean, using a wedding example again, but when I was managing an events team, the amount of brides that came up to me after their wedding or after they've confirmed, saying the only reason I confirmed is because of your event exec.
How lovely.
Just shows, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is
lovely.
By
people.
Yes, by people.
Now, this is a really nice quote. Personal brand is the story people tell about you when you aren't in the room.
I love that. I've heard that before.
Bumps.
Yeah, it does. I followed I haven't got the book with me because I lent it to somebody else, but a few years ago, I met a lady who is fantastic, and she wrote a book called Personal Branding for Brits, and it shows you how to go through your personal brand. And I found it so enlightening, and so much so that if you go onto my website now, instead of me saying a load of marketing bump about why you should work with me, I basically put my personal brand on there that says, this is why other people have said you should work with me, so that it's a bit more authentic and it's not kind of like what I call marketing speak, brochure speak.
Such a good idea, definitely.
Such a good thing. So I recommend that book, everybody, Personal Branding for Brits. Have a look.
And people, that's where the best business comes from, when people talk about you in a good light, and referrals and all of that. That's the best type of business.
Definitely.
That you want. It's actually revenue wise the cheapest type of business as well, in terms of
yes, that's true, but sometimes being Brits, we are a little bit nervous to ask for these referrals, aren't we?
That's true. Yeah. So Lynette says, I really learned to be myself on LinkedIn whilst I was on furlough. I had no business to talk about, so I made it more about me, and I'm so glad I did.
We're so glad you did as well, Lynette.
We are too, because that's how we met you.
Yeah.
But your LinkedIn absolutely was off the scale over lockdown, Lynette. It was so. And
you know what, Kate? I met Lynette in a breakout room. I can't remember which course we were doing, and I was like, I feel like I already know you, even though we haven't actually spoken until this moment, which is perfect. I mean, you can't get much better. I feel like I already know her. She's obviously doing the personal branding thing.
Spot on. Yeah, exactly. Maybe we should swap places, Lynette.
Yeah. Maybe we should have her as a guest. Yeah.
Really good. So we've got some points here, which is on a slide, but I think we're just going to chat about them really, about kind of how to do your personal brand, how to enhance it a bit more. I'm just trying to get rid of my face so I can only see Becky's on my screen.
Oh no.
Speak of you, that's better. So yeah, firstly is identify what you want to achieve. And I really like this throughout the sales process and throughout everything really. always working out what your end goal is. And Becky, you kind of alluded to that earlier in terms of like getting bookings, getting recommendations, like what's the goal in the long term?
Yeah. I mean, that is the goal, isn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, we all love doing what we do, otherwise we wouldn't be doing what we do, and we love chatting to people and creating relationships. And well, maybe we've made Fem and Amanda do videos, but I think we kind of love doing our videos, etc.
I find it so much easier than
the end goal is to get business. You know, that's kind of like we do what we do. And and it does work. It's very much like when I talk about Facebook, it's just being non-promotional most of the time, and then people will connect with you and think, I want to work with somebody like that.
But I think as well,
definitely worked for me.
Splitting down those goals and those achievements. So identifying what you want to achieve in a smaller scale. So like obviously, like you're right that in the long term we all want to get more business and more bookings and more money. But in the shorter term, it's kind of, do you want to funnel them into your blog posts? Do you want to just get an appointment, a Zoom call with them? Or do you want to build a relationship with the hope that in the future it might turn into something? Kind of splitting those achievements up. The same as you would do in the sales cycle. Like if you're going to have an appointment or a show round, what's your goal for that? Yes. Realistically, you're not going to get signed contract at the end of it.
Yeah, what's the next steps?
Yeah, but you might, find out who the decision maker is or find out who your competitors are or anything.
And I think that's really important, because I think, like you say, it's quite obvious in sales, you're always looking at the end goal. But when we do other things, we often forget what the end goal is. Yeah. We just kind of like do it. Oh, I need to post on LinkedIn today. And there's no kind of like rhyme or reason sometimes why people are doing it. Yeah,
I'm totally guilty of that. Like, what should I put on today? I'll whack that up.
Yeah, but no,
it's not. There's always a game plan.
Exactly. Yeah.
So next, it's identify what your own morals are and what you want to stand for. And again, I really like this because you kind of go through life and you know what you stand for, what you believe in, and what your morals are, what your kind of ethos is, but you never really sit down and write it down or think, okay, so this is what I believe in, and kind of, I don't know, who should I be working with that has the same ethos, or which companies maybe I wouldn't want to work with, or we don't have the same vibe. So it's quite interesting to take a minute and identify what your morals actually are.
Definitely. And I think it can be scary, but I think this is where you can be your true self, and be really honest. And I know it's a buzzword at the moment, authentic, but it is a good word. Yeah. There's no point in trying to be somebody that you're not, because I think it would come through. And don't be afraid to do that, and equally, I know this is going to sound a bit like scary, but there might be some people, that don't like you, but that's okay. That happens in life. You can't please everybody all of the time. Yeah. And I think sometimes that scares too many people.
I agree. Yeah, it totally terrifies me. People don't like
well, it does me as well, but we still crack on with it.
Yeah. But actually, in terms of engagement and reach, I know, Becky, you talk about reach a lot with the social media hat on. If people don't agree with what you're saying and comment controversial things, that gets so much more engagement and reach, because people start going back and forth. No, that's not right. No, that's not right. And then suddenly you've hit like.
There is a guy on LinkedIn. I don't know if you follow him. Is it Chris Williams? And he purposefully puts out controversial statements and says discuss, and it goes mad like every day, but he does it on purpose. Now that is he's taken it to the extreme. Some people it would definitely pee off, some people wouldn't be happy about that, but if he's looking for engagement and stuff, it's worked. Everyone talks about him and talks about what he's saying.
Totally. Do you know what he does for a job?
I think it's like an online platform or something he does. Yeah.
Because I always think it's interesting how these people on LinkedIn, you're like, oh, I love their style, and then you're like, what do they do? Where do they actually come from? So that's obviously working because what he does.
Yes.
Diana, it's surprising how few site inspections are conducted by salespeople who don't have that end goal in sight. You're so right.
Yeah.
And we do a closing the sale course, but actually we talk about how closing doesn't have to be getting a signed contract and confirming.
I know. Yeah.
closing the next appointment or confirming the next steps or getting permission to be able to chase in 2 days. And having those little wins over time is what ends up in a confirmation.
Definitely.
Oh, Ryan's all over it. Look. Hi, Ryan.
Controversial statements. Go on then, Ryan. I'm going to see some controversial statements now from LinkedIn from Ryan.
I think it's so important to stand up from the crowd on LinkedIn and build a personal brand. I think people get so bored of the same generic posts. Love the idea of controversial statements. Ryan, do it.
I'm so excited, Ryan. Go on. And do you know what you were saying? So what's standing out from the crowd, Ryan? Funnily enough, the best engagement on a post at LinkedIn during lockdown for me was when I posted our family lockdown boogie.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you remember, so my daughter was in year 6 last year. It was the end of the year, and during lockdown they had to do all sorts of videos for school. And Fem, you'd have hated this, but she made the whole family, and my husband was just like proper cringing about it, do this like family lockdown boogie, and it was a bit like a TikTok, and we all had to do it. And I put it on LinkedIn just as a kind of, this is what my daughter's making me do. And that is the best engagement over 4 months I had on LinkedIn. So that just proves it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And hopefully it proves that I'm up for a bit of a laugh as well, and I'm not kind of like a really boring person to work with. And creative, there's all those background things, isn't it, that it shows about people. Yeah.
And then you get the people, it's not Facebook. If I do anything like that, I always put hashtag I know it's not Facebook. But leave me alone.
Yes. Yeah,
interesting. So well, the next point is tell your story and don't be afraid, which we kind of covered a little bit in terms of being bold. I realise we're really running out of time, Becky.
Here we are. It's not like us, Kate, is it?
Yeah, I know. But the next point is really important. Whilst it's vital, like we say, to be authentic, talk about things that you're interested in, showcase your ethos and your morals behind the business, have a bit of fun, like Becky said, you also need to give some value. And actually the businesses and the people who give value and do through content marketing and put out some decent content there, they're the ones that get the most leads back. And I've gone through a moral dilemma in my head for the last 2.5 years, however long, of how much content do you give away, because realistically people pay for content. So
it's a really hard balance, I think, because like you during lockdown with my people by people hat on, I was doing the weekly post pics to help people with their hospitality social media, and I was sharing that, but it's taken up a lot of my time, and a lot of other people were giving away a lot of stuff, weren't they? But we do our blogs and our PDFs and even sort of sharing what we're doing today on LinkedIn. Hopefully helps people and shows that we are hopefully experts in our field and we know what we're talking about.
But that sort of content marketing across all platforms, really. I mean, you'll probably see it. We put videos and stuff on LinkedIn, we do this on Facebook, and then we record this and put it onto our LinkedIn IGTV thing. That sort of content gets you more leads, and especially, and I'll shameless plug here, but we're doing a talk with the MIA next week on the importance of consultative selling, which leads into a course about adapting your sales approach in the current times. And that content is great for consultative selling, because clients don't want to buy from salespeople anymore, they want to buy from experts. A lot of our event bookers have not run events before, especially at the moment when their jobs are changing and they might have been thrown into doing a job that maybe somebody's still on furlough, so they've never booked events. If you're that expert, you're the consultant about the holistic event, not just this is the room, this is the capacity, about have you thought about dietaries, have you thought about decorations for your dinner table, like all of that stuff. That's when people start to buy into you more and more. So give some value away.
Definitely. Yeah, and you'll be the first person they think of when they've got to go and book an event, or whatever your business is then.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll just go through a couple. We know we're late, but it'll be on our YouTube channel if anybody has to hop off. And Becky and Amanda and Fem will be late for our team meeting. Just let you know.
Yes, we'll be late, but we'll be there. I love the way Fem's just put, Becky, me and my family created a remake of E.T. Shall I put that on LinkedIn? Totally, Fem.
Yes,
I cannot wait to see that.
to see that.
I want to see that, and I want to see some controversial statements from Ryan. I'm loving this.
It's been a productive half an hour.
Yeah.
Yes, Fem, great idea. That will get a lot of engagement, definitely. Amanda, yeah, you'll be asked to dance next. Totally agree.
Yeah. Get your routine sorted.
Yeah, so a couple of ones: engage and don't just post. You don't have to just show your personal brand through posting all the time and through your controversial statements, but you can. So when you're engaging with people and commenting on other people's posts, that's when you can also show your expertise or what you're interested in or what your kind of ethos is. So yeah, use that tool as well to engage with people.
Definitely. And I think helping people as well in a non promotional way is always really nice. Pointing people in the direction of others and that kind of thing. It does really good. It does your personal brand a lot of good. Yeah. People can trust you then.
Yeah. And lastly, collaborate. So work with companies.
We like to collaborate.
We love a collaboration. Yeah, we do. Work with companies that have the same ethos of you. Find out what kind of, have a think about what kind of business you are and what level you're at, and try and work with people who are at a higher level to you, who maybe have more engagement or have the same target market as you, but don't do the same sort of thing. So it's exactly what we're doing with the HBAA and the MIA. Like they get to offer their members our workshops, some of which we've done for free of charge, so that it's an added extra for their workshops. And we obviously get things back in terms of traction and things back from them. And that collaboration has been the absolute making of Selling Savvy over the last 4 or 5 months. And so really have a look and research of companies that you can offer some value to, so that, because your reach and your personal brand and everything will really go off the scale if you get the right businesses involved.
So I'm going to do a shameless plug now, because it just seems to be the right time.
Go on then, you can do it.
If you want to find out more, I feel like I'm doing like some sort of advert now. If you want to find out more, Kate's actually doing LinkedIn Challenge next week, aren't you, Kate?
Yes, I'm so excited. So this is the second one that we've done. Let me show you the information from it. Oh gosh, I've done the wrong button. Yeah, so it's a 5-day challenge. Those of you who've been on our 5-day challenges, they're really good fun. 10 a.m. live on a closed Facebook group at 10 a.m. every day for 45 minutes. And we go through metrics and profiles, so how you can leverage your profile and what metrics you should be using to measure any success that you're hopefully going to have, that you will have. Connecting with the right people, so making sure you're getting in front of your ideal clients rather than just the average Joe. Engagement to build relationships. So there's a few little tiny tricks that LinkedIn algorithms have that can get you a lot more reach a lot quicker. Content planning, so included in the £20 ticket is a $7.99 30-day content planner, so that's nearly half the price anyway.
And that's half the job done for you as well. Brilliant.
Yeah, so 30 days you'll have ideas to post stuff, and it's all specifically designed for the event industry, so it's all event specific. And then there's some secret hacks as well, so some little things that you can do again to build that traction. And then on Friday night we're doing Q&A with wine, so this is like a networking where you can ask me anything. We have breakout rooms, we all have a glass of wine or a glass of gin, and yeah, so that's it. I will pop the link in the comments now, and let me know if anybody wants to join. It would be great to have you there, and please send us your good news stories as well.
Yes. Anybody got anything positive from LinkedIn maybe that they might want to share? Let's see. Is anybody out there still, or we all kind of like talking to ourselves now?
Blathered on too much.
Yeah.
I mean, ours is a positive LinkedIn story because we all met on LinkedIn. The whole team did.
Yeah, it couldn't be more positive. And it was because of the way that me, you, Fem and Amanda portrayed our personal brand that brought us all together. Yeah,
totally agree. Yeah, it's interesting. Right, let me put this link in the comments, and then we will see you soon, everybody.
Yeah, have a lovely weekend, everyone, and thanks for joining us. It's always lovely to see you. Well, not physically see you, but you know what we mean.
to have everybody on.
Definitely.
And we'll see you same time next week. And if not, see you on Monday for the LinkedIn challenge.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.